This is the tennis player. He's the Australian Open champion. We know he's very sceptical about the vaccine. It's pretty much suspected he hasn't had it. Well, we know he hasn't had it. The question is whether he's been given
a medical exemption
because they've got to get him into Australia because they want him in the tournament. Yasmin, this is really interesting, isn't it?
It's shocking. It's so wrong. And, you know, I rarely agree with Piers Morgan, but what he said in a tweet today is absolutely right. It's disgraceful. Australians have done so much and have tolerated and put up with so many restrictions in order to keep this virus out and under control. And what? Because this guy plays good tennis, he can, you know, what he's going to do is influence how many people into thinking it's okay not to take the vaccine. If he can do it, I can do it. You know, he knows better than all those other people who are telling us to be vaccinated. It's a shocking decision. It's a shocking decision.
We don't know what the decision is based on, and I guess we're going to assume it's not because he's got an inflammatory heart condition, because
he's a very good tennis player.
He is quite a good. What do you think about it, Storm?
Well, do you know what? They've said that he's got a medical exemption, and I think, to be honest, we can have our suspicions, but I think we have to take that at face value. We don't really have a right to know his medical history or what his exemptions are. If he does have a medical exemption, then we're just going to have to go with it. I think there's lots of sportsmen out there without vaccines that are being able to play their sport.
No. We don't have to go with it. I think we can question it like hell. Less than half of Serbians have been vaccinated. There is a big Eastern Europe thing going on. Are you cross about this, Pete, or do you think no? Because there are people who say, look, he's a tennis player. We want to see him play.
I am very cross about it, sending all the wrong signals out. And if he was so seriously opposed to vaccines, then he should let us know what his medical exemptions are. But also, there might be a problem. He might have been made exempt from this, but will he get into Australia? Will they stop him at the border? Because imagine all the passengers behind who have got the vaccinations, the boosters, and then all of a sudden one person goes through. So I think it's a bigger problem.
I thought this exemption was from Australia.
I think he's there.
Angela, everyone's cross now, Angela. Are you cross?
I'm really cross. I mean, I know this is only anecdotal, but a very good friend of mine, her son moved to Australia, and he and his wife have had a baby 2 years ago. She hasn't seen him yet. And I'm sure that story is played out a billion times over all around the globe, with people with different countries and loved ones and being apart from ones they want to see. And the idea that because this guy brandishes a tennis racket, that somehow supersedes people grandparents who haven't seen babies for the first, grandchildren, all those kinds of things. Listen, if you want to be a poster boy for the anti-vaxxers, vote with your feet and say, I didn't have the vaccination, I don't believe it. Or as Pete says, say, you know what, I've got this particular medical condition, I've got a blood condition, I've got the documents or whatever it is, and this is why I'm allowed in. But this kind of fudgy no man's land doesn't do anything other than fuel the argument for those who are looking for a reason not to have the vaccination.
OK, brilliant producer Nat may not have heard of Auld Lang Syne, but she's just told me that this is a dual decision. So it is Australian tennis and the government of Victoria, which I guess is where, you know, the tournament's taking place. So they basically said you can come in. Interesting comment from Jamie Murray, he, you know, Andy Murray's brother. He said, I think it was me that wasn't vaccinated. I wouldn't be getting an exemption, but well done to him for getting clear to come to Australia. So he kind of rescued it at the end there. Anyway, we'll see. It's not, for a lot of people, it's not a very good look, is it, at all?